All right. It looks like we're live. So glad you could join me for yet another Sunday stream from Wimberley, Texas. Got people checking in from Nevada City, California. We might be playing there in the springtime. What else? Stoke, UK, Terrell, Texas, Maryland, South Paris, Maine, Pasadena, Maryland, Kingston, Oklahoma, Nottingham, England. So glad you could join me live. We're going to do the second half of all those April requests I got with all the sweet stories, people telling me how the songs worked their way into their lives. It was a really moving experience to see people talk about these songs and how much they mean to them. Very gratifying. All right, let's get right into it. Sweet Summertime is for Drew Smith, who says the song calls to mind childhood adventures, memories, friends. Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was thinking about. Actually, I want to show you something. While people are gathering in, we got 61 watching. They're coming in quick. Howdy, everybody. And howdy to the few people from the future, too. Those mysterious people in the future. Who knows when they're going to watch this thing. But you're welcome as well. Good to see you, too, in the future. So I recall that Sweet Summertime I wrote on a day when I wrote two songs, Sweet Summertime and Keychain. I finished them both in one day. I never do that anymore. And I went to my diary to make sure that was a correct memory, because who knows these days. But I found a diary that Karen gave me on June 25th, 1990. And the next day, I was inspired. The next day, June 26th, got up early with Kay for a change of routine, got in my car, looked at the map, headed for Wolf Neck State Park. Never been there. Within a couple of hours, I had written the song Sweet Summertime. I think I have a picture of it. I wrote the whole thing in just a couple of hours. And then I had lunch and went to Bradbury Mountain State Park and wrote Keychain. And then I started working on a third one. I had it going when I was 26, 25, or whatever I was then. So this is for Drew Smith, and also for Maura and Ted, who asked for this a while back. Asked for Anything Off the Promise, my first release, cassette only, back in 1990. Well, I grew up among the woods and fields. I remember sweet summer times. We built forts high up in the oaks and log cabins in the pines. We built a ramp and jumped over each other on a one-speed second-hand Schwinn. Next thing you know, we're all grown up, never seeing each other again. Oh, we had time, yes, we had time. We thought the summers would never end. Times were good and times were bad, some of the best times we ever had. We were young, we were friends. We ducked through the barbed wire fence and played ball among the cow pies. When Toro got up and began to charge, we'd run and save our lives. We built a ramp and jumped over each other on a one-speed second-hand Schwinn. Next thing you know, we're all grown up, never seeing each other again. Oh, we had time, yes, we had time. We thought the summers would never end. Times were good and times were bad, some of the best times we ever had. We were young, we were friends. Well, I drove down to the park today, and the boughs were whispering low, and the piney scent was reminding me of thoughts of long ago. Some of my pals are still around, some are long, long gone. All the summers that we shared live only in this song. Oh, we had time, yes, we had time. We thought the summers would never end. Times were good and times were bad, some of the best times we ever had. We were young, we were friends. Times were good and times were bad, some of the best times we ever had. We were young, we were friends. All right, people checking in from Albuquerque to Bath, Maine, to Huntsville, Alabama, Harker Heights, Texas, Chattanooga, Paradise Valley. Oh, Scott O'Connor, good to see you, old Scott. Good to see you, man. Oh, this is really fun. These are really exciting to do. I only do them once a month, so I'm always a little rusty. And I'm so sorry to the Facebook people who I cut off last month. I had something set wrong on Facebook, and I was trying to fix something, and I lost it. But I spent a lot of time tweaking my computer, and it looks like everything's working well this month. Knock on wood. All righty. All right, got 100 people just clicked in, 100 people watching. Hit those thumbs up on YouTube, everybody. That little thumbs up button just below the video. That helps broadcast the video amongst more people out there in the internet. Helps get the video viewed more often. Let's get a few more thumbs up. All right, back to requests here. We got an anonymous request. It's dedicated to a 17-year-old dog named Jackson Brown, who has helped rehab 75 foster dogs. What an amazing dog. Dog doesn't have to do much to be amazing, but that's a pretty amazing feat. This person wanted to hear Primer Gray, a song I wrote with old buddy Rod Picott. It's on the latest album, which is almost 5 years old now. Is that right? I think it is. Primer Gray. Let me check my notes here. I pulled the engine with a block and chain. Got the oil pump in just before the rain. In the gravel drive, it's a Pontiac. Come the weekend, you'll find me at the track. It's a 74. Dad bought it new, still mostly stock, and it's rusted through. I only worry about what's underneath. What she looks like don't mean a damn to me, 'cause you don't need that flash and shine. You just need to be hard off the line. So keep your lacquer, your chrome and flames. I'll paint mine primer gray. Some men are rich and they'll let you know. Some guys act tough, it's all a show. I know the things men hold inside. We're all about the same when you turn out the lights. 'Cause you don't need that flash and shine. You just need to be hard off the line. So keep your lacquer, your chrome and flames. I'll paint mine primer gray. Dad was pretty fast back in the day. Bring that trophy home now, Mama used to say. They sit there on the shelf gathering dust. Luck turns to loss and chrome to rust. I've got that car detailed and tuned. My boy's 16, he'll be driving soon, but he won't drive that old 74. Kids today, they all want something more, but you don't need that flash and shine. You just need to be hard off the line. So keep your lacquer, your chrome and flames. I'll paint mine primer gray. It's what you do, not what you say. I'll paint mine primer gray. Downingtown, Pennsylvania, Bodega Bay, California, Newcastle, UK, Tunkhannock, Pennsylvania. Blenny and Rick Weston got some old timers out, not old timers, but frequent timers. Got a lot of people been coming to these live streams almost every month, and bless their hearts, we thank you so much. Your participation, your donations have kept us through this hard time in pretty good shape. We're doing pretty well. Actually, the exciting news we have is that since we saw you last, Karen has been hard at work, booking not just one, but a bunch of tours. She's booking a East Coast tour in October, a bunch of Texas shows in November. We're looking into a West Coast tour in late February, early March, and some more Texas shows in April, and going up to Maine in April and May. So it's starting to look almost normal again pretty soon. Oh, speaking of which, our dear friend Scrappy Judd just tweeted, "Hey, all you sweet rock and rollers, please spread the news. Scrappy Judd and Band will be playing every Wednesday in June at the Continental Club in Austin, filling in for James McMurtry for a month. And June 5th, 6 p.m. at the Saxon Pub. Come out and see Scrappy Judd and Band June 5th, 6 p.m. at the Saxon." Exciting news. I hope you all are getting vaccinated, and hope to see you out on the road pretty soon here. Got another one from the latest album, which Scrappy Judd produced, of course. This is the Drunken Barber's Hand for Todd Sinclair. I've seen his name a lot on the streams this year. Thank you, Todd, for being a regular viewer. He said he finds this song apropos for what we've experienced this past year. Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of a song about the world falling apart, no matter what we try to do. 3 scruples to a dram, boys. 8 drams to an ounce. 2 cups will make you a pint now, and the first one's on the house. The drunkard craves just another. The blind man blames the eye. Poor man dreams of riches, and a martyr prays to die. I don't need to read the papers or the tea leaves to understand that this world's been shaved by a drunken barber's hand. I've drowned in the pool of young love, known the high and the hurt. I felt the heartbeat quicken at the sight of a lifted skirt. I've thrilled to the big sound, felt the rumble and the roar. Drove straight through the blackest night in a chase forevermore. And I don't need to read the papers or the tea leaves to understand that this world's been shaved by a drunken barber's hand. I rode 10,000 miles on a carousel made of wood. We all end up where we started, get right back on if we could. So go ahead and make your confession to a washed up whiskey priest. I'll be putting my money down on the rough and slouching beast, 'cause I don't need to read the papers or the tea leaves to understand that this world's been shaved by a drunken barber's hand. I don't need to read the papers and know the heart of man. This world's been shaved by a drunken barber's hand. The Drunken Barber's Hand. Let's do one more from the latest record. I'll get a request for New Year's Day. We don't take requests on the chat. First of all, because half the time we don't see the chat as it flies by. Also, when I do these songs once a month, I have to practice all the songs once or twice to make sure I have them in my head and even print out the lyrics in case I have a COVID brain or whatever. So no requests in the chat, thanks. Put requests. You can put requests in the comments on YouTube, or send Karen an email. If you're on the email list, you can send Karen an email, or go to Slaid.com. To the contact page, there's a little app called Ask Slaid a Question. You can put a request there for next month. But this comes for, this goes out to Sharon from Fort Worth. Says, it reminds me of loss and trying to be tough during loss. Well, I guess that's a good song for these days. Also, this goes out to Caitlin Conroy up in Philadelphia. She was one of my very first fans in the Philly area, was at my very first Philly gig I think it was at the North Star Bar during the No Angel Knows tour. Must have been 25 years ago. We're going to do If I Had a Heart. And it's funny, I'm not complaining. This is just funny that, you know, when I have a new album out, I'm excited about the new batch of songs, and I play them a lot, and people kind of humor me because, you know, some are excited, but most people come to hear their favorite song from years ago. And I get it. I went to the Springsteen show a couple years ago, and I didn't want to hear anything he wrote after 1986. It's terrible, but it's true. So I get it. But the saving grace is that I found that, like clockwork, about 3 or 4 years after an album comes out, people start requesting the songs on that album. And I got like half of the Ghost on the Car Radio album is going to be played today by request, and that makes me very happy. All right, we got Jupiter, Florida, checking in. Nice to see. Karen's answering questions on the chat on YouTube. I want to make sure Facebook is working after I did such a bad job on Facebook last time. Is it working? I'm refreshing the page here. Oh dear. Oh yeah, it's working. All right. Yay. All right. If I had a heart. It's a little out of tune. It's warm in here. I look like I'm sweating a bit, and that's because I am. It's warm and it's humid. I didn't want to play with the AC though, because I sing better when my voice is warm. The more I see, the less I understand. The harder I work, the poorer I feel. The deeper the faith, the more I'm broken. The more I hear, the less it all seems real. Then you come around with your soft young skin, with no idea what you're about to step in. And in these times you remind me of the man I used to be. If I had a heart, you'd be breaking it now. I've seen hope rise, come crashing down again. Seen the bashing of brains, seen the city unwind. I've seen the overthrow of dictators and tyrants, seen the gory mess they always leave behind. Then you stop by, talking about your dreams. You see a world not yet ripped apart at the seams. And in these times you remind me of the man I used to be. If I had a heart, you'd be breaking it now. You'll see truth turned into lies, light turned to dark, hearts broken too. Just one thing before I die, I want to make one lie come true. It's just my opinion, but I think that the guitar solo that Scrappy Judd plays on the recorded version of this song is one of the saddest and loneliest I've ever heard. The more I read, the dumber I think I am. The more money I make, the more they say I'll need. The farther the drive, the closer I am to where I started. The more I'm told, the less I tend to believe. And you come around with your soft young skin, with no idea what you're about to step in. And in these times, you remind me of the man I used to be. If I had a heart, you'd be breaking it now. If I still had a heart, you'd be breaking it now. All right, we're going to switch to songs that friends of mine wrote. I've got a lot of talented friends that sometimes I like to do their songs. Checking the chat here. Hello from Sweden. We've played one gig in Malmo, Sweden. It was really exciting. I need my harmonica for this. Gonna do a song by the great Michael O'Connor, who lives up in Washington State now. But he grew up down in Corpus Christi, Texas, and cut his teeth in some of the wildest, dirtiest, scariest bars there are out there in Port Aransas and Aransas Pass and Corpus Christi. The song goes out to John from St. Paul, Minnesota. This song was his introduction to my music, and first song he played in his band years ago. Played accordion on this song. Pretty cool stuff. The Devil's Lullaby. And I didn't have a whole lot of time to do audio visuals. Most of these songs I'm doing today, I've done them already, and I didn't want to repeat myself, and I didn't have time to work up new AV stuff. But I did put together some bar scenes for this song to look at bar scenes while we do this one here. These are all Corpus Christi and Port Aransas and Aransas Pass bars, so hopefully you'll get the flavor. Oh, that's not right. Let's see. When the shrimpers hit town with their white boots on, drinking all their pay before they make it home, then we're staying. Diggy liggy lie, diggy liggy low. That's the song that you better know if you're playing. The women whistle and the fiddles whine. Sounds like the devil's lullaby. Well, the rattlesnake race I found myself in. My nan lady notified my next of kin, and I'm rambling. Left a crying, pregnant teenage bride. Grandmother kneeling by her side, they were praying. San Patricio, hear their cry. I'm playing the devil's lullaby. I sang the song when I was young, about the power in the blood. Jesus, he can't save me, I'm crucified. The devil's lullaby. So I sang the songs of a rose tattoo, a sailor's heart with a girl untrue under the street lamp. All the skirt chasing and free basing, and the scarlet flows where she sliced me good with a razor. The sirens wail and the church bells chime. Clowns like the devil's lullaby. The women whistle and the fiddles whine. I'm playing the devil's lullaby. Devil's lullaby. Alrighty. The great Michael O'Connor. Look for him out there. Look for him online. He's put out a lot of great music. Let's see, get back here. Karen was saying something about tips, so I'll put up the tip link. Tips are voluntary, everybody. If you can tip, that's wonderful. You're keeping us from having to dip into our savings while we wait for the tours to start this fall. We appreciate it very much, but it's totally not necessary. We're doing fine. A special thanks to some people tip every month, bless their hearts, and we really do appreciate that, and they've made a big difference in our lives. But we can see the end in sight. Fingers crossed. We're going to make it through this just fine. I'm going to look at the chat for a minute. Trying to get a date at the Third Coast, says Karen. Yep, that's true. We're working on it. All right, Jonestown, Texas. Jonestown, Texas. Welcome, Jonestown. Whew, I really am working up a sweat here. It feels good. Another song by a friend of mine, Flowered Dresses, is coming up next. This goes out to Graham and Teresa Cooper in Portsmouth, UK. Proud owners of the songbook. The songbook has been out for a couple of months now. We've got sold, I don't know, 350 copies, something like that. People playing my songs all over the world and overseas. And Graham and Teresa pointed out an error. I think it's the first legitimate error being pointed out. Some people complain about the type being too small or something like that, but I can't do much about that. I want to get every song on 2 pages so you don't have to flip pages while you're in a song, so the type has to be fairly small. So get your readers out, folks. But Graham and Teresa noticed that I put the capo on the 4th fret in the songbook for Flower Dresses, and that's how I play it live and have been playing it live for 10 or 15 years. In the studio, it's on the 2nd fret. So if you want to play along with the record, put the capo on the 2nd fret, and I updated that page on the songbook, so anything you order today going forward, it'll be up to date. I'm going to try to play it in the 2nd fret, but I don't think I can because I've lost a bit of my low range over the last few years, but I'll see what happens. Oh, this also goes out to Scott, who also wanted Vacation Land. That must be Scott Patch from Maine. Yeah, Vacation Land is... that's a song I just wrote about a bunch of people who used to come to my shows all the time. So it doesn't seem like the right context to do that song anymore. Maybe someday. Oh, also for Mary Dan Eads. I think that's Dr. Mary Ann, whose birthday I played with Michael O'Connor in California a couple years ago. Nice to see you out there, Mary Dan. All right. Flower Dresses by Karen Poston. Well, she was leaning long-legged neath the bottle cap sign of a country store with a Coke and a smile. Coolest place to linger on an Arkansas day when she saw him passing by. Oh boy, that's low. She said, I'll take you back to Texas and my name is Ray, where the stars are bigger than the hit parade. And she stopped dreaming her dreams, started dreaming his, traded in her childhood. And she wore flower dresses for him, rolled her hair and scrubbed her freckled skin, on the chance that they were going out tonight, catch a show, maybe grab a bite. And she looked real nice, she looked real nice. That's hard to sing down there. Sometimes I think about my daddy and his Old Spice grin, a clean pressed shirt and a farmer's tan. She never asked him questions and he never told her lies, but I heard my mama cry some. And I was sitting in the hallway on the night he left, hugging my knees, holding my breath. I was never sure why, but he was damn sure gone. Thought it was maybe my fault. And she wore flower dresses for him, rolled her hair and scrubbed her freckled skin, on the chance that they were going out tonight, catch a show, maybe grab a bite. And she looked real nice, she looked real nice. Let's see. Sometimes I gotta look at. I think I'm gonna change the capo for the last, just to show people that I do sing it better up here. Now the evening is just starting to chill a bit. The fireflies over the field, and it brings to mind the glider where she used to sit, count the headlights on the highway. Now I think of where you're going, where you are tonight, what you must have seen since I last saw those eyes. I know I can't win if I do not play, but this whole thing scares me. She wore flower dresses for him, rolled her hair and scrubbed her freckled skin, on the chance that they were going out tonight, catch a show, maybe grab a bite. and she looked real nice. She looked real nice. Yeah, she looked real nice. She looked real nice. See, I sing it better in that key. That's a high note, though, in that key. So, that's the beautiful thing about a capo. You don't have to relearn a song. You just move the capo up and down the neck, singing at any key you want. All right, one more song by a friend. This is by my old friend Rod Picott, who I've known since the 3rd grade. We met on the school bus way back when. Put our first band together, the Magic Rats, in South Berwick, Maine. Went to Marshwood High School, played at the senior assembly. Rod grew up listening to stories about his great uncle, whose name was Elmer Wormel, but he was a boxer, and he went by the name Tiger Tom Dixon. He fought out of Dover, New Hampshire, and there was a pretty big scene in southern Maine and New Hampshire and outside of Boston back then. You know, they didn't have 100 things to watch every night on TV and on the internet and all that. So boxing was pretty popular back then, and Tiger Tom was a pretty good boxer. And Rod wrote this song based on his memories. This goes out to David and his son Jake. This was Jake's favorite song when the album came out, the Wishbones album, about 16 years ago, when he was 5. So I guess he's 21 now. Says father and son still sing it together. Well, I hope they're out there today. I'm gonna put this one up on the capo too. Tiger Tom Dixon by Rod Picott. That doesn't sound good. I'm gonna tighten this guy up. There we go. Tiger Tom Dixon had a gift from God. He could hit you quick, he could hit you hard. In a world where man's hands are put to the test, Tiger Tom Dixon's hands were the best. Men came from Boston, from Ohio, corners of counties that you never know. Barrooms and pool halls with nothing to show, except for the fist that they did throw at Tiger Tom Dixon. Tiger Tom Dixon. Step into the ring, gloves tied on tight. After humbling a man, Tom would tie one on in spite. Kick back into a whiskey like it was an easy chair. Drink to anything that the devil may care. Now Tom held the future in his right fist, but there was no good time Tom Dixon could resist. No neon in New England, they hadn't passed out under. No white lightning hadn't filled his thunder. And men from Boston, from Ohio, corners of counties that you'll never know. Barrooms and pool halls with nothing to show, except for the fist that they did throw at Tiger Tom Dixon. Tiger Tom Dixon. Tougher than leather and quick as a cat, to the young man one day is no longer that. And the dreams of those around him sink to the quick when he slows just enough for them to figure the trick. Come a day in December, the steely winds did blow into the ring a man Tom Dixon used to know. It was himself without the bottle, and the dream held fast. He took Tom's dream with him and he never looked back. Well, Tom rolled around that bottle for a couple of years till he was put in the ground by his own fears. Now all that is left is the story I've told, and the dream that still waits to unfold for Tiger Tom Dixon. Tiger Tom Dixon. Men came from Boston, from Ohio, corners of counties that you'll never know. Barrooms and pool halls with nothing to show, except for the fist that they did throw at Tiger Tom Dixon. Tiger Tom Dixon. Tiger Tom Dixon. Tiger Tom Dixon. Oh man, that's an amazing song. I'm so glad I learned that song. Yeah, Rod Picott. Alrighty, we're gonna stay with Marshwood High School alums now for one more song. I wrote this song with Nicole St. Pierre, who we grew up with in South Berwick. Nicole and I were friends back in high school, and we wrote this song a few years back called Gone. My parents and Nicole's parents were party buddies, party friends. We had some amazing parties at my house in the late 70s, early 80s. Wild stuff, illegal stuff, you know, drinking and driving. One time my parents' good friend was a judge, and he left the party, and his house was only about a mile away, but he didn't make it. He ended up in the river in a snowstorm, and his friends had to go pull him out of the river before the cops got there so he could avoid getting a DUI. Statute of limitations, it's all fine now. He's passed away now, actually, so. Old Judge Broderick. Yep. I think I could take the tip link off here. I'll play it again at the end of the show. I'll put up the tip links. So Nicole St. Pierre and I wrote this song called Gone, and this goes out to Chuck in Pittsburgh, who had tickets to our show at the Club Cafe last year. It got canceled, of course, but Karen's working on our makeup show in October, I believe. Third week of October, I think, we'll be swinging through Pittsburgh again, if it all lines up, if everything opens as planned, everybody gets their vaccinations. This also goes out to the Wittenmeyer crew, regular fans who've been to many shows. They're from New Jersey. I know I've seen them at Joe's Pub in New York City. This goes out to Janet and Greg and their kids, Jack and daughter Andy, who's off to college this year, reflecting one phase of this song, indeed. All right. I see we got 140 people watching, but only 76 thumbs up on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. I was going on 12 and she was just 9, passing around her little valentines with the devil dancing there in her eyes, teasing someday she would be my bride. I said, you're just a little girl, now go on. And as soon as I turned around, there she was gone. There she was gone. I started thinking about her every day. I started singing the young love song. There she was gone. We're out of school now and she's my girl, but a restless soul needs to see the world. I search for a promise in those dancing eyes. Would she settle down by my side? She whispers in my ear, babe, you can't hold on. So I opened up my arms and there she was gone. There she was gone. I was thinking about her night and day. I was singing a lovesick song. There she was gone. Now we're mom and dad with a girl of our own, growing like a weed in this happy home. She's got that devil in her mama's blue eyes, but no one realizes how time flies. Until the house is still, no more little girl songs. One day we turned around and there she was gone. Well, I'm an old man now and she's still my girl, spends her days in a long gone world. There's a darker devil hiding lies, telling her she's someone else's wife. She looks at me and says, "Mister, what's wrong?" And right before my eyes, there she is gone. There she was gone. I was searching for her every day. I was singing a worried man's song. There she was gone. There she was gone. Oh, I'll think about her all my days. I'll be singing an old love song. There she was gone. Somebody wrote, "I just heard Gone last week and have now listened to it at least 20 plus times." Glad you found that song. Who was it? Kebab Kungan 9007. That's a fun name. All right, I'm going to sneak a new song in here, folks. A world premiere, no less. I did a world premiere last month, the first of the year. Another world premiere coming up. I wrote this song with a couple of guys from Ohio named Mike Morgan and Jeff Elliott. We wrote Hometown USA together and The Old Guard, which we're doing later on today. This new one is, I've been working on this on and off for several months. I think it's done, but I reserve the right to make a few more changes. But it's good enough to sing, I think. It's called Dust and Silver. I changed the melody about 4 times in the last week, so I gotta get them straight in my head. All right, here we go. World premiere. Dust and Silver, aka the Ballad of the Silver Dollar. Well, I started out as just another lump of ore, in Denver, minted as $1 back in '34. Traded through the Dust Bowl and the swamps of Louisiana. My journey is what made me what I am. One day a drifter found me in a dusty barn, put me in his pocket, kept me for a lucky charm. Shined me with his ragged shirt and hopped a freight that night. He vowed that he would soon start living right. Up out of the ground come dust and silver, and a wise man comes to know what each is worth. Dreaming up and building out a life for all to see, till dust and silver go back to the earth. The young man enlisted after Pearl in '41. Got a uniform, a paycheck, and an army-issued gun. From Normandy on to Ardennes, in the foxholes of France, he held me in his trembling, muddy hands. Somehow we made it back to the old USA. Got with the GI Bill and a couple of years of saved up soldier's pay. He raised a family, prospered, was respected in the end. He'd show me off to family and friends. And every day he turned to me with his fingers and his thumb, placed me on his bedside table when the day was done, bowed his head and said a prayer of gratitude sincere, as I grew smooth and thinner year by year. It was late one night in his old back porch rocking chair. He dropped me by his boot heel as he said his final prayer. And now we rest together, our traveling days no more, in the quiet earth, just like a lump of ore. Up out of the ground come dust and silver, and a wise man comes to know what each is worth. Dreaming up and building out a life for all to see, as dust and silver return to the earth. All right. World premiere, everybody. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. All right, okay, we're going to go way back in time now. Song that must be, 25, 26, 27 years old, something like that. Dance Around the Fire. This goes out to Rick up in Vermont. Rick's been to some shows. He's been to a clam bake at the family place there in Bristol, Maine. We used to do clam bakes up there in the old days, and we had the energy to put them on. Good to see you, Rick. Rick talked about the deep sadness of an unhappy marriage that this song depicts. Futile and fatalistic, he called it. Yeah, that about sums it up. All right. Oh, there's Rick in the chat. Glad you're in the chat there, Rick. All right. Somebody said, I swear Slaid must be related to Woody Guthrie. Well, we're all related if we go back far enough, right? We'll get some nice thumbs up for the new song. Thanks, everybody. Still needs just a little bit of tweaking, but I think it's just about done. Bill's been thinking a lot these days about the way things used to be. He's never been the kind of man to put much faith in destiny. Sometimes he feels the warmth of a fire from long ago. Sometimes he steps into the night and all he feels is the winter cold. Everybody dance around the fire tonight. You don't have to wait till it's your turn. Everybody dance a little closer to the flame tonight, but don't get burned. Pray that you don't get burned. They met in high school and they never had a doubt there'd be some hard times, but old Bill would find a way to work things out. Katie had a way about her that made old Bill believe. A small farm and 3 kids later, it looked just like the perfect family. And one day Bill found out what he should have known all along. Things fall apart sometimes. One minute something's there, then it's gone. With the kids in bed that night, Katie gently shut the door. She turned to Bill and said, I'm sorry, but I don't love you anymore. Now he spends his days just like he's always done. He'd never guessed the sorrow that he's hid so well from everyone. The house is empty now, the kids grown up and gone. And Bill slips into bed at night with Katie right by his side, and they hold on. Everybody dance around the fire tonight. You don't have to wait till it's your turn. Everybody dance a little closer to the flame tonight, but don't get burned. Everybody dance around the fire tonight. You don't have to wait till it's your turn. Everybody dance a little closer to the flame tonight, but don't get burned. Pray that you don't get burned. Oh, Stacy Rose. Hey, Stacy, nice to see you, man. All right. Met Stacy out at the Bohemian Grove years ago. Man, that was a long time ago. Rob from, I think that's Rob from Rob from Holland, from the Netherlands. Rob, I think is who that Rob is. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Let's see. We're doing well. I got a bunch of thumbs up. Thanks for doing that. Coming up next, we got a song for Janine. Janine first heard this song at the Turning Point. I think at the first show that she saw me play, it was at the Turning Point. She heard this song, Cry. She was going through a separation, and she asked for my story of the song. Well, my story of the song is it's kind of the sequel to Dance Around the Fire. Dance Around the Fire and this song, both, I don't know if inspired is the right word, but based loosely on my parents going through a hard time in their marriage and eventually calling it quits in their late 60s, which was really hard on both of them and on all us kids. Cry for your mama, cry for your dad. That's what this song's about. This also goes out to Tim Moran. Well, that was exciting. We worry about this. This is the thing that we have no control over. Sometimes our internet just goes out. The cable, we're at the very end of the Time Warner cable, the actual cable. It stops at our house. So we're the farthest we can possibly be from the wherever they start the cable, wherever the cable starts at the factory. So our cable just goes out randomly. And that's what happened. Karen, bless her heart, she sprung into action, and she had to restart our modem and restart our router and do it in the right order so it works. And it worked. We're back. I'm going to finish the song. We lost about half our people, but I'm glad half of us stuck with us. Thanks so much for bearing with us, folks. All right, I'll do the last. I think this went out in the second verse of Cry, I think. Let's just do Cry again, because I don't want to shortchange Janine and Tim for their song, their request. All right, and it looks like Facebook cut me off too. Facebook won't keep going. Yeah, we're done with Facebook. That's too bad. But YouTube is still with us. Infrastructure, yes, that's what we need. New love like a diamond, like a twinkling star, but it's a whole lot of heartache to it to where we are. 'Cause every man is a myth, every woman and somebody just asked if I was frozen in carbonite. Glad you're still with us. Every man is a myth, every woman a dream. Watch your little heart get crushed when the truth gets in between. Every bond is a bond of sorrow. Your blue sky turns gray. Everything you love will be taken away, like your internet. Cry for your mama. Cry for your dad. Cry for everything you know they never had. Lying in the bed you made, but you were so young. Say a prayer, put your head down, gotta prove your mama wrong. There's no poison like a dream when it all comes undone. Don't you know that in the end you're not fooling anyone? And every bond is a bond of sorrow. Your blue sky turns gray. Everything you love will be taken away. Cry for your mama. Cry for your dad. Cry for everything you know they never had. Never had. between the rum and the glass, between the teeth and the tongue. Come December when the lights go out, you know you can't count on anyone. Between a dream and a lie, between hope and what's real. After so many years of let's work it out, you'd think there'd be some kind of a deal. Cry for your mama, cry for your dad, cry for everything you know they never had. Cry for your mama, cry for your dad, cry for everything you know they never had, the love they never had. Cry. Thank you all so much for coming back. We got 127 people back. We only lost a few. And got some requests for trumpet on that. Karen cannot do the trumpet part, I'm afraid. That's Oliver part. We're back and running. We got our internet. Thanks to Time Warner Cable for their iffy internet out here in the countryside. Alrighty. Oh, I'm so glad we got that up and running. Thank you, Karen, for springing into action to help restart the modems and the routers. All right, we're gonna do another song off the latest record. To Be Held is going out to Amy. Actually, she asked Amy asked me to send this song out to her daughter Katrina and husband Keith. She told a funny story about how Keith was wrote down the lyrics to the song so he could learn it. He plays around the house. Keith, you need to get the songbook, Keith. Take care of those problems there. He wrote the lyrics down, and Katrina and a friend of hers saw these lyrics written down on a piece of paper, and Katrina started worrying about her parents' marriage. Thankfully, everything's okay with Amy and Keith. That was a cute story. So this is for Katrina and Keith. You're not asking for diamonds. You don't want furs. You don't dream of silver and gold. All you're asking is to be cherished, to be held and to hold. You don't need me to come round solving your problems. You need more than blankets in the cold. And all that you want is a chance to get closer, to be held and to hold. To be held and to hold is all that you ask. And still sometimes I fail at the task. All that you want is a chance to get closer, to be held and to hold. I walk around blindly, I bumble along. In my heart I know that I'm wrong. It's a cold consolation. I'm sorry again. One more time, the same story told. And all that you want is a chance to get closer, to be held and to hold. To be held and to hold is all that you ask. And still sometimes I fail. Sometimes I fail at the task. Sometimes I fail at the task. And all that you want is a chance to get closer, to be held and to hold. And all that you want is a chance to get closer, to be held and to hold. Geez, I played that song 2 hours ago perfectly, and I don't know, the brain is a mysterious thing. I forgot the chords on that one. All right, one more song off the latest album, Junkyard. When will I have a new album? I'm working on about a dozen or so songs, and about half of them I know they're going to be good, and the other half, I don't know. They might make it, they may not. They might end up at the Junkyard. Oh, there's a song called The Junkyard. How convenient. What key is this in? Sorry, that internet thing rattled me a little bit. I was pretty smooth. I was pretty suave. And then the internet thing rattled me. But everything's fine now. And we're blowing through our April requests. I'm going to try to get just about everybody's request in who wrote so nicely, so eloquently in April, telling us about these songs and how they weave their way into your lives. This song was requested by Bill, the song Junkyard. He was born and raised in rural Ohio. Says he'll be watching even if it interrupts the Reds game. Hey, that's a tribute. I appreciate that, Bill. What key is this in? I was practicing it, and now I don't remember. Oh, I'm headed out to the junkyard on the lonely side of town. This time it's a one-way trip, boys. I won't be coming back round. And it's one last time to the junkyard. I've swapped out my spare of parts, from fenders and alternators to shoulders, knees, and hearts. The doctors and mechanics have done all they can do. With hammer, wrench, and scalpel, ball joint, valve, and screw. It's time to throw in the towel. Some breakdowns you cannot mend. Like all that have come before us, we all must face the end. And so I'm limping back to the junkyard in a cloud of smoke and dust. I won't be driving out this time, gonna lay me down to rust. Gonna leave this old shell behind now, set our spirits free. Gonna walk on out to glory, the sun's setting down on me. So it's one last time to the junkyard on the loneliest side of town. This time it's a one-way trip, boys. I won't be coming back round. Junkyard for Ohio Bill. Thanks, Bill. Here's a song for Richard, who I've seen at a few gigs. He's a big music fan, and he's been at just about all the live streams and tipped generously at most of them, too, if not all of them. Thank you so much, Richard. He asked to hear the song Horses, song about my parents' neighbor up in Bristol, Maine. He's the wacky neighbor of the neighborhood, or he was. He moved away a few years ago. He's the wacky neighbor of a new neighborhood now, I should say. So just picture your wacky neighbor as I'm singing this song. And if you don't think you have a wacky neighbor, that's bad news. You know what that means? Somebody gave up NASCAR to hear us live. Wow, what a tribute. I appreciate that so much. I met Willie by the still, he was brewing a batch. He had a short cigar, one last match. He was telling me about his latest troubles with the government. He had child support and alimony. He was looking depressed and kinda lonely, just trying to figure out where all his hard-earned money went. Well, I'll be go to hell, he said. I got nothing but a Ford and a barn full of hay. If it weren't for horses and divorces, I'd be a lot better off today. Well, I said, Willie, that sounds like a song. He said, son, you know you may not be all wrong. Could you give me a little piece of the pie if you make it a hit? I got a 51 Ford I'd like to fix up. I got 2 sick ponies and 1 sick pup. And my 3rd wife's coming today to take my TV sets. Well, I'll be go to hell, he said. I got nothing but a Ford and a barn full of hay. If it weren't for horses and divorces, I'd be a lot better off today. Oh-de-lo, oh-de-lay, oh-de-lo, oh-de-lay, oh-de-lo, 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 oh-de-lay, oh-de-lo, oh-de-lo. Well, God bless poor old Willie McCann. You know he's always been a good, hard-working man. He bought me a beer last night down at the Lost and Found. He said, horses and women are fine, sure enough, but if you don't treat them right, things are gonna get rough. Believe me, I got these 4-year marriages down. Well, I'll be go to hell, he said. I got nothing but a Ford and a barn full of hay. If it weren't for horses and divorces, I'd have a lot more money, less gray hair. I might even be a millionaire. If it weren't for horses and divorces, I'd be a lot better off today. Oh-de-lo, oh-de-lay, oh-de-lay. Horses for Richard, who owns a bunch of horses. He sent me a picture. He has the most beautiful horses up there in Illinois. All right. Moving along. How many more songs have we got? Let's see. 3. Just 4 more songs, and we'll wrap up this session. Thank you all so much for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. For those of you just coming back to us, we lost our cable internet for a few minutes, but Karen was able to restart everything and get us up and running within a few minutes, 5 minutes or so. Thank you, Karen. All right, this is a request for, from Mike, the proud owner of the songbook. I should plug the merchandise. Tips and merchandise are keeping us going until we can get into the clubs again. This is the songbook. It has, about 45 songs of most requested songs, written out with nice little chord charts and all the lyrics and the chord changes right where they're supposed to be, because we sing along with the record. We've got a brand new batch of Breakfast in Hell hats, Breakfast in Hell t-shirts. This one is soaked in sweat now, so I'll have to take this one off the line. Actually, we should charge extra. Didn't Elvis used to sell vials of his sweat? We're not going to do that. So this is for Mike, proud owner of the songbook, and for Diane Cahill. I've seen her name a lot in the live streams. Thank you, Diane, for being a regular. Do I need a capo for this one? I think I can do without. This is called I Bet She Does. They say she's trying to get a hold of me, and she's not the woman she once was. She's telling all her friends now she misses me. I'll bet she does. Well, I turned off my phone a week ago. She sent a friend over today. I said it's over, please don't waste my time. But she said it anyway. She misses you, you can see it in her eyes, and besides, she told me so. Is there anything you want to whisper to her now that she once again once was? She says she misses me. I'll bet she does. won't deny that I still think of her, that I'm not trying to be cruel, but I won't trick my humbled heart again, and I no longer play the fool. She misses me, now there's nobody to hold her in the night and say it's alright. Did she realize, after running off to him, that it's me after all who she loves? She says she misses me, I'll bet she does. She says she misses me, I'll bet she does. I bet she does, off the Still Fighting the War album. Going out to Mike and Diane. Whim of Iron from the same album coming up next for Steve and Mary and good old St. Lou. We'll be trying to get back to off-Broadway sometime early next year, I'm hoping. Mary swears this song is about her mom, Mary Ann, who was writing letters to politicians when she was in the 4th grade. Yeah, that sounds about right. This is a song based on 2 women that I've known a lot of my life, half my life at least. 2 women who are very much free spirits. Hey, we got Otis Gibbs. Otis, how you doing, buddy? Great to see you out there on the chat. I hope you're doing well. I've been watching your YouTube stories. Oh, they're so much fun. Watched the YouTube story about Tom Petty stories and Guy Clark stories, and go to YouTube and look up Otis Gibb, and you'll see he interviews people telling stories about famous musicians and unknown musicians too, side guys. It's very, very entertaining. Otis Gibbs. I Bet She Does is the title to that song. All right, Whim of Iron is next for Steve and Mary. She had a whim of iron, you couldn't tell her no. And if you did, she'd prove you wrong and say, I told you so. She'd get a big idea, friends would roll their eyes, then she'd pull it off when no one else would even dare to try. She had a whim of iron, like the time she met this broke-down poet. He was a World War II vet. One day he proposed, and she said, I do, to this gentle soul, and she didn't care that he was 92. True story. She tried to buy the old church before they tore it down, and took up a collection all over town. She raised $500,000, fixed it up so nice. Now there's dancers, artists, and singers where there used to be bats and mice. She ran for office once in the state of Maine. She said, I'll bet I can't do worse than old what's-his-name. She shook things up for a little while, told the good old boys off good with a wink and a smile. She had a whim of iron, you couldn't tell her no. And if you did, she'd prove you wrong and say, I told you so. She'd get a big idea, friends would roll their eyes, then she'd pull it off when no one else would even dare to try. She had a whim of iron, you couldn't tell her no. She had a whim of iron. Whim of Iron. It was my grandfather talking about his niece, my second cousin, where she left her conservative Ohio home after high school, went to New York City to become an actress in the early 1970s, I think, cousin Tina. And everyone thought she was crazy, but she is a working actor in New York City now. She was in the Coen Brothers thing there on Netflix, the little series of shorts. She was in a scene with Philip Seymour Hoffman in one of his last movies. So, Prudence Wright Holmes, my cousin. Even my very conservative grandfather who thought she was being crazy said to her, "Prudence, you have a whim of iron." That's where that idea came from. Next up, we got Wishbones for Daniel in Oregon. He says this is the first song of mine that he heard, and it helped him through the hard times, and it's now helping him through the good times. Well, that's nice to hear. I'm glad you're going through some good times too, Daniel. Also for Mike, who asked for this song a while back, and for Nikki Buck in OKC, a fan since 1999. Wrote about how the song has been a comfort through several hard times in her life. Hope to see you at the Blue Door before too long, Nikki. Gotta put my capo on for this one. Day after trying to understand why the world tries to grind you down, make a ghost out of a man. Your debt of grace is due and you've pawned everything you own. I guess some dreams just don't come true, nothing left but skin and wishbones. Each year the world gets lonelier and uglier with sin. You'll never see those blue skies through young eyes again. You pray to every god you've known just to wind up all alone. Your friends are gone, your mama's dead, nothing left but skin and wishbones. Spin the bottle cap, throw a shot back, everything's gonna be alright. Spin the bottle cap, throw a shot back, cough and cry, lay down and die. Grab an end, hold on tight, bottles and bones in the night. You'll never go back home, you old wishbone. Can't eat, can't sleep, can't think, not knowing where to go. This is real life, brother, this ain't no reality show. If suffering is human, well, I guess we're not alone. You'll survive on next to nothing, but you won't live on skin and wishbones. Spin the bottle cap, throw a shot back, everything's gonna be alright. Spin the bottle cap, throw a shot back, cough and cry, lay down and die. Make a wish upon a star tonight, everything's gonna be alright. Spin the bottle cap, throw a shot back, cough and cry, lay down and die. Grab an end, hold on back, bottles and bones in the night. You'll never go back home, you old wishbone. Grab an end, hold on tight, breaking bottles and bones in the night. You'll never go back home, you old wishbones. Wishbones, I wish I remembered who it was, but somebody brought this to a gig years ago. A man brought this to the gig, and it's a tribute to his wife who passed away. And it's a little it's gotten banged up because it was on the road with us for a while, but it's a little commemorative Wishbones diorama with a silver wishbone in there and a Shiner Bock bottle cap and a CD, a piece of liner notes, and it's really a beautiful little heartfelt memento that we keep in the office there. I wish I knew the name of the guy who brought it to us at a gig. Maybe he'll show up again and say hello. All right, we're really winding down. We just got one more song to do. I hope the battery on the old camera holds out. I should have changed it during our internet kerfuffle. So this is the last song. Thank you all so much. I'll put the tip link up if you feel like tipping. That's great. Where is it? Here's the tip link. We appreciate those tips. Keep the lights on before we start touring again. Again, Karen's booking some tours in October and November. October on the East Coast, November in Texas and the Southwest, and February, March maybe out on the West Coast, and back to New England and Texas in April as well. So almost back to normal here. In a few months, we'll be chugging away out there on the road, complaining about it. Complaining about all those miles. All right. Is this the last song? It is. The Old Guard off the latest record. Again, we have a brand new run of t-shirts. Just took them out of the box a couple weeks ago. T-shirts and hats. We've got plenty of those. Anything else? Don't forget Scrappy Judd. He's playing the Continental Club. What is it? Scrappy Judd and Band at the Continental Club every Wednesday in June in Austin. And June 5th, 6 p.m. at the Saxon Pub. I might have to make one of those shows. All right, this is a song about all you folks coming to the show year in, year out, month in, month out, live in person, live on the streaming. Thank you all so much for being a part of this community. Thank you, Karen, for running the chat and fixing the internet. This is the Old Guard for Jeff from Ohio. First heard this song when I played it with Scrappy at the old Beachland Ballroom. Dickie's Place is a tavern where I often go. Like tonight when this heart of mine is aching low. Through swinging doors I hear the voice of old George Jones. I find myself a bar stool and I'm right at home. The old guard down at Dixie's drinks up all night long. Every face lined and weary hides a country song. Ruined lives, broken dreams, countless cold regrets. On the jukebox, their stories told in silhouette. Cheating hearts, crazy arms, now it's crying time. Heartbreak goes down easier with beer and rhyme. Every night we get together to be with our own. And the old guard feels a little less alone. And some kids, they start playing their fast modern tunes. And the floor bounces when they dance around the room. We talk sports and weather and work and such, until one of the old guard says he's had enough. He starts punching in the numbers of the ones we feel, those old heart-breaking melodies with crying still. The young ones start leaving, it's too slow and hard, but they'll be back when it's their turn to join the guard. Cheating hearts, crazy arms, now it's crying time. Heartbreak goes down easier with beer and rhyme. Every night we get together to be with our own, and the old guard feels a little less alone. Thank you all so much for tuning in on the Sunday, and thanks to all you people out in the future. I hope YouTube will fix the glitches that happened about halfway through, about an hour into it. We'll see. It's all up to YouTube now. Somebody asked how Karen Poston's doing. She's in the middle of chemo, so it's rough going, but she's hoping to be done, I think, in May. I think she wraps up chemo this month, and she has a GoFundMe site. I don't know if she's updated it lately, but I'll be checking in on her soon. Looking at the chat here, thank you all so much for checking in. Got some friends out there. I'm gonna put the end cap up before the battery dies. We'll be back in June. Probably gonna be Father's Day again, the third Sunday in June. I think we'll do another one of these. Tell your friends and family about these shows. You can get to them through my tour page. Is the best way. Just slaidcleaves.com/tour. I'll put up the links for the next streams in a couple of weeks. Everybody take care. Get those shots. let's ease back into normality over the next few months, all right? Take care.